And so with e-commerce growing and continuing to grow this year as well as in the years in the future, in the years ahead, I thought it would be a good idea to go out and build an e-commerce store using one of the no-code tools. And so that is exactly what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be using Bubble to build an e-commerce store from the design, implementation, coding, testing, and until we have the final product. So that is exactly what I want to show you guys today. And before we get started, if you like no-code stuff, if you like low-code stuff, if you want to learn how to build stuff using very, very popular tools without writing a single line of code, then definitely smash a like on this video. Let me know below in the comments what you guys think. Maybe you have questions, comments, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel. All right, with that out of the way, let's begin. And so before I start coding, I start building anything, I want to design things. I want to have like a diagram in front of me that really gives me a picture and understanding of the scope of the project, meaning how many features we're going to implement, how big is this thing going to look like, are we going to implement everything, are we going to do a couple of features and then implement the rest in version 2.0. That is really the point of design. And so the first thing that I looked at is the views, right? So we have views and we have data types, right? Views is the first thing that I look at when I'm designing something. And the reason for that is views are the things that the customer sees. And I want to understand right away is what kind of things am I going to be looking at? And so concerning the views, we have 6 views that we're going to be working with. And these are going to be the homepage view, the product category view, product search view, product detail view, the cart view, and the checkout, okay? So what are these views? Well, the first is a homepage view, right? So if you go to Amazon.com directly, this is their homepage view. And here you can display all kinds of things. You can have recommendations. You can have products that the user may be interested in, products that are selling well, bestsellers, or you can display a specific category. You can just display a list, okay? For the purpose of this tutorial, we're just going to display a list of products. Then we have the product category view, and this is where we are essentially displaying products from a specific category. And if you go on Amazon and you go on, let's say, so I was looking at batteries, you click on a product and you have categories, right? We have kind of a tree here, a tree structure. We have health and household, household supplies, household batteries. And if you click on household batteries, you're going to see products specifically from that batteries category, okay? Next is the product search view. And this is slightly different from the other views because this is where the customer kind of knows what he or she is looking for. They can type the specific search query inside the search box. So if I type batteries, I'm going to get search results. So right away, I have a bunch of batteries. So I wasn't browsing specifically. I know exactly what I want, and I want to see those search results, okay? We're going to implement that as well. Next, we have the product detail view, and the product detail view is very important because if you click on any of these products, so let's say you click on any of these products here and you go to a page that looks something like this, this is a product detail view. And anytime you build any kind of app, this should already be familiar to you. You may have like a list view, which are essentially all of these previous views. And then you have a product detail view, which is where you are familiarized with the product, with the features, the benefits, etc., etc. Next, we have the cart view, and this is a view that if you adding the products to your shopping cart, you can click on it and you're going to see what's in your shopping cart. And then we have a checkout here, and this is where you click and you enter your final credit card details and you purchase whatever is in your shopping cart. All right. So now that we covered the views, let's talk about the data types. Okay. So there are 2 kinds of data types. The first is the complex data type, and then we have the simple data type. So the simple data type is like these so-called primitives. These are your text, number, maybe a Boolean types, true or false, stuff like that. So for instance, a name is a simple data type. A description is a simple data type. Something like a product is a complex data type because it includes everything else. It may include primitives, but it also may include other complex types. So as an example, we have here a product. It includes name, description, rating, price, but it also includes a category and a seller. Okay, so it's self-explanatory, the name, description, rating, price, because it could be like batteries, description, like, you know, a little bit more text about what this specific product does. Then we have the rating. So the rating is going to be from 0 to 5. So something like 4.5, 3.7, etc., etc. Then the price. And then we have category and a seller. So I have here for this category, I have the number 1. And what that means is that a product could only be in one category. Okay, now in the real world, you know, especially on Amazon, you can have a product in multiple categories. But for the purpose of this tutorial, just to keep things simple and direct, a product can only be in one category. We also have a seller, and so a product can only have one seller. And there are situations where one product can have multiple sellers, where a product is generic enough, so it can have multiple sellers. But I think even in real world situations, a product is typically unique, and that is why, while it could be in multiple categories, for the most part, it's going to be unique to a seller. So that way, if I am a seller and I'm selling this specific product, that product is unique to me only, even if it's perhaps the same product across the board and different sellers are selling this product, all right? So that is our product. Next, we have the category. It has a name and description and also multiple products. So I have here marked by M, which means that a category is going to have multiple products, essentially an array of products, a list of products, followed by user, and this is our logged in user. Okay, obviously you need to be logged in order to add stuff to your shopping cart, to check out, etc., etc. So a user has a first name, last name, maybe a username, and then a shopping cart. And a shopping cart is essentially a list of products. I could have also called it cart. And I have here marked by M, which means many, one to many. So a user, all of these are, you know, just single fields, and this is going to have a list. And then last but not least, we have a seller, and they have a name, description, and also multiple products that they're selling. Now, of course, I am oversimplifying a lot of these things, but this is going to be useful when we start to implement, and when we're going to start to build the app. You're going to learn a lot of advanced functionality just to how to glue all of this together. And so making it more complex, more sophisticated is going to be just incremental effort. It's going to be fairly simple as opposed to like starting out from this app. All right, so now that we have this kind of basic screen, we have the beginning, we have the design, the next step is to go into Bubble and to start building the app. All right, so I'm going to log into Bubble, and I'm going to hit New App, and I'm going to call this app Amazon Cloner 2022. We're going to say this is an external app. This is a marketplace, details. What is the goal? Build a tool for myself. I'm going to hit Create a New App. All right, so I'm waiting for the wizard to finish. The wizard is loading our app now. And what we want to do is we want to start with a blank page, and we want to close the assistant. All right, so what we want to do first is we want to build out these. We're just going to go in order. We're going to build out the home page, the product category, the search view, the detail view. We're just going to go in order. And the first thing that we want to do is we want to add a header and a footer, right? We want this page to be at least somewhat presentable, right? So we're going to add a footer here. And that's how you want to do it. Now, if you want to give yourself more space, what you guys want to do is you can just simply drag it down. Now, before we're actually, building the data part, now we have, the footer and the header. You can add a group, right? I like to start everything inside a group. That way, it's all going to be arranged nicely. We have a group. The next thing you guys want to do is you want to think about how you want to display the data. I'm going to keep it simple. I'm just going to do a repeating group. So I'm going to drag the repeating group inside my group. And that way, it's all going to be nicely arranged. And we're going to expand it a little bit. So maybe something like this. Yeah, that looks about right. Maybe something like this. This is just going to be basic list. Now, how many rows I want? I want 5, maybe 7 rows. I can even do 10, but 10 is going to be too narrow. Let's do 5. We're going to do 5 rows. Now, this group is going to display a list of products, okay? Maybe you want to have some kind of a header. So I'm going to drag some text. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do remove style, and I'm going to center it. And I'm going to do 36 maybe. I'm going to do bold, and I'm going to say homepage. You can obviously make it whatever you want. We're going to expand it. There we go. Okay. And that's our homepage. Very simple, okay? Next, we want the headers for these fields, okay? So the way you want to do is you want to drag a text. Now, you do not want to drag it so that you have this red line. You want to drag it higher. You want to drag it something like this. That's still too much. So what we want to do is we want to expand. We want to expand everything because there's no space. We want to put this up, and now we could drag it above. Okay, so now it's a header, but it's not part of this. It's not a repeating element, which is kind of what we want. Next, I'm going to remove the style, and I'm going to center it. I'm going to copy and paste it. Let's copy and paste it. Okay, I'm going to put it here, copy and paste it again. And how many fields do we want? Well, let's go back and look at what kind of fields we're going to be displaying. Name, we're not going to do description because that's going to be on the detail page. We're going to do name, rating, and price, and a category. Okay, and I'm going to explain to you why. So that's 4 fields. I'm going to copy and paste. Copy and paste here. Yeah, that looks about good. That looks about right to me. Let's arrange it. Okay, so we have, yeah, so that looks about good. So I'm not like a really awesome designer or anything like that, so don't hold that against me. I'm more of a developer, which is kind of why hopefully you're on this channel for. And what you want to do is you want to go into elements, and you want to go into group, and you want to set the type of content we're going to be displaying. It's going to be very, very helpful. The type of content is going to be, well, we don't have the type of content, so we need to go into data, and we need to create our data types. Okay, so we have 4 data types. We're going to have product, and I'm going to do capital. I'm going to capitalize it, and it's going to be a single, right? Because obviously a multiple of these is plural, but the type itself is going to be single. Product, we're going to do seller, and we are going to do category. Okay? So now we're going to add our custom fields. Okay, so what do we have? We have our product. And what are the fields we want? Name, description, rating, price. Okay, so we're going to say name. Name is going to be text. We're going to do description, text. Price is going to be a number. And rating is also going to be a number. You can do it in numeric range. I'm just going to do number to keep it simple. And we also need a couple of complex fields, category and seller. Okay, so I'm going to go back here. And we are going to do a category. Actually, it's going to be lowercase, but the field type is going to be uppercase, category. And this is going to be a single field, right? And we are going to do a create new field, and it's going to be seller, lowercase. And it's going to be seller right here, create. So now we have all the fields. Category and seller. We're going to do seller, name, description, product. I'm going to go to seller. Name is text. No, seller, yeah, name, description, product. So maybe the seller has an about page that they want to describe themselves. And we are going to, the description is going to be text. And the products they sell. So product is going to be a products. It's going to be a multiple list. So we can even do products. This field is a list. Create. Products, list of products. Next, we have user. Let's go to user. And user is going to have first name, last name, username, and a shopping cart, which is a list of products. So we're in user. First name. Text. Last name, text, username, text, and then a shopping cart. I'm just going to call it cart, and this is going to be product, and this is going to be a list of products. Okay, this is their shopping cart when they're shopping around. Let's see what else we have. We have category, product, seller, and we also need seller. Name, description, product. So seller is name, description. So I think we're done, right? We are done. User, category. We've got category, name, description, product. So it's going to be name, text, description, text, and then products. Product. And product is going to be multiple products because one category can have multiple products. So a field type, I'm just going to say product, and this is going to be product here, multiple types, an array essential. Okay, so we are done here. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to add a couple of simple products for testing. Okay, we need to start off with something. So we're going to go to all products, new entry. Now, type of thing is product. The category, we cannot type anything, right? Because, well, we don't have any category. Let's add categories first. That's probably a better idea. Let's do categories, new entry, description. So we're going to have two categories, widgets and gadgets. Very simple. I know I'm being creative. So widget is the name of the category about widgets. And we don't have any products. We're going to add them later. We're going to create. We're going to hide this. And we're going to add a new entry, gadget. Gadget, category about gadgets. All right, create. All right, so now that we have two categories, we can start adding products. We're going to go to products, new entry. And so what I want to do is I want to type the name of the product, but I can't do that. The reason I can't do that is because I need to change the search field. So I click on this. These are the search fields for each of our data types. So for category, I want to base it on name. That way I can just type the name of the category. It's going to find it for me. I'm going to hit save. And now it says type a category's name. So let's say this is a widget, and it found it. Now I'm going to create two widgets and two gadgets, different prices, different things. So $3.99. This is going to be widget 1, widget 1. I'm just going to put description. Rating $3.99. 3.9 out of 5. Seller, we don't have seller. That's fine. We'll have that later. I'm going to create. New entry. This is going to be widget. This is widget 2. Widget 2 description. Widget 2 price $15.99. Rating 2.5. It's low rated. Hit create, and now two gadgets. New entry, gadget description, gadget 1 description. Copy and paste, gadget 1, price $1.99, rating 4.9. It's a good product. Gonna hit create and create another gadget. Gadget, price $19.99. Description, gadget 2 description, gadget 2, rating 4.9. No, let's do 4.2. I think we have 4.9 already, if I'm not mistaken. So category gadget, gadget 2, create. All right, so now we have 4 products, 2 per category, which is going to allow us at least to build an app and to test things. We're going to go back to the design. Now it's telling us we have an issue, and the issue is because we don't have type of content, because we didn't have content before. All right, so now let's configure our repeating group. All right, so the type of content is going to be product, data source. We are going to do a search for product. No constraints. Very nice and simple, okay? We're just basically getting all the products together. So now Bubble knows what this is all about. It knows what's going on. So now we can drag our text, and we can drag it like so. And I'm also going to remove style. I'm going to center it, and I'm going to try to align it the best that I can. Copy, paste, align it, copy, paste, copy, paste. All right. So now we have our data types. So now we have our repeating group elements. Now we need to configure each element here. And this is dynamic data. Current sales product, name. Actually, let's set up our headers first. Name. What do we have? Category. This is going to be rating. This is going to be, let's align it. This is going to be price. So this is name. This is going to be current sales product category name, because we're pulling in another complex field. Insert dynamic data, product, rating, and the price. Current product, price, and we want to format it, right? So what I want to do is I want to say formatted as currency, decimal place 2, separated period, thousands is a comma, but we don't have anything that big. Currency US dollar, the mighty US dollar. All right, so that is kind of what we have so far. So now if we run this app, we should see 4 products right here. So let's preview this. All right, so that's our preview, and we are seeing our 4 products. It's not aligned perfectly. That's okay. We'll fix that later. But right now, we are seeing widget 1, widget 2, gadget 1, gadget 2. So it's all pulling in the right data. Very important. You always want to test things as you go. It's very, very good habit, because you don't want to build everything and then find out that you're doing something wrong that affects everything. Let's make this bold. Let's make this a little bit bigger. Let's make it 18, just a bit bigger. Bold 18. Bold 18. All right. So just to fix it up a little bit, and there's a lot of things that we can do, but I'm just going to leave it at that. All right. Next thing we want to do, guys, is we want to create a couple of pages. One is a category page that's going to display content from a specific category. And another page is a search page, which is going to display content matching a specific search string. So those 2 pages are going to be very, very similar. If you go in here, these 2 pages are going to be very similar. In fact, these first 3 are very similar. But these 2 are going to be very, very similar because they are doing a filter just on different fields. Then we have a detail, cart, and checkout. So it's going to be very, very straightforward. So what we want to do is we want to create 2 more pages, but we want to clone it off this one. Okay, so let's do that. We're going to come in here, add new page. We're going to clone it from the index, and we're going to call this category page. Okay, create. Okay, so this is our category page. So I want to change it right away so I don't get confused. And I'm going to say category. And right away, I want to display the name of the category that we are passing through. And I'm going to explain to you how we're passing it. And right away, I'm thinking about displaying the name of the category because it's a way for me to debug if we are passing the right data correctly. Because if we're not, nothing is going to work, and you're not going to know why it's not working. You're not going to be sure. You're not going to be sure of the exact reason. It could be data. It could be data from database. It could be the way you're passing. Lots of different things. So what I want to do, guys, is I want to pass data correctly. We're going to go back to index. And the way I envision it, lots of different ways of doing it, obviously, is that when they click on the category, it's just going to go to the category page for that specific category. And that's one way of doing it. Many, many different ways of doing it. It's up to you. If I double click on this, I can start edit the workflow. And what I want to do is I want to click here to add an action, navigation, go to page, category, and we're passing in the data. Now, the data we're passing is current sales product, category name. That's it. We're passing it as a path variable, okay? We're not passing it as just like a parameter, name value pair. We're just passing the category there. All right, that's it. And now it's going to redirect it, right? As destinations category, we're passing that. So now we can go to the design for category, and we can display it. So we're going to go in here, insert dynamic data. We're going to scroll down, get data from page URL, path. That's it. It's there. Now it's going to display it. All right. So now let's test it. Let's see if it's displaying it correctly. Obviously, the table is not going to work, but at least the header should work. Okay. So we're going to run the app. We're going to click on this category. We clicked widget, and it says widget. Okay. We're going to go back. Maybe that was a fluke. We're going to click gadget, and it says gadget. Okay. So now it's displaying, it's getting the data correctly. Okay, let's go back. And what I want to do is I want to go back to category, and I want to create a different filter. Right now, we don't have any filter. We don't have any filters. And so what we're going to do is we're going to add a new constraint. We're going to say category equals to, and what we want to do is we want to pull up that category, right? Very important. We're going to do a search because we cannot match it directly because the category field on the product is not a text field. It's a complex field. It's a complicated, not a complex field. So we need to do a search. So that means we need to go to category. We need to add a constraint where name equals to what we passed it through. Get data from page URL. We're going to do path. We're going to close. And now we're pulling in the category. But if we close this, now it's correctly. Now we're getting, but we can get multiple categories, assuming that all the categories are unique. We just want the first result. We're going to say first item. That's it. Now, category, we're searching for the category by another constraint where, whatever the value we're passing, we're getting a list, but we're only getting the first result because we have unique. Categories are going to be unique. We're going to close. Okay? So now if we run it, let's see what happens. We're going to go back to the main page here. We're going to click on widget. Okay? So if I click on widget, I just get the widgets. I just get the widget, the products with the category of widget. Let's go back. And let's say I click on gadget. Category gadget. Now I get 2 products for gadget. So it's working exactly how we want it to work. All right? Next, let's create a search page. Okay? So we're going to do a add new page. We're going to clone it from a index page. And we're going to do search. Okay? And how we're going to be passing the search query? Well, we're going to go to the index. We're going to, just add some more room. And we are going to add a input. Input here. Maybe here. Maybe something like this. I mean, typically you want this to be in the search header. But just for the purpose of this tutorial, I'm just going to make it here. And we have a button. This button is going to be right here. And what we want to do is, now, whenever you're adding input fields, okay, for text fields, it's not that important. But for input fields, you want to label it because you're going to be using the data. It's a field you'll need to read, right? So I'm going to put input-search, okay? Now, this button, I'm going to say search. You can change the colors. I'm just going to make it a little bit smaller. Something like this. And now we have homepage here. We have homepage. And we have the search field. Now, what's going to happen here is we need a workflow. I'm going to double click. Start edit workflow. And we're going to redirect to our search page that we just created. And we're going to pass the value from the input field. We're going to say input search value. And that way, whatever they type is going to be passed to the search page as a path parameter. Okay, I'm going to close this. And I want to test, right? I want to make sure, am I passing it correctly? I'm going to go to search. I'm going to change this. Search results for input dynamic data. We're going to go get data from page URL, path. And now it should display whatever we searched on the previous page. So I'm going to do this. So let's see if it works. And then I'm going to fix the actual table. So I run it, and I'm going to type. I'm going to fix all of this a little bit later in the video. So I want to type, I'm searching for products. So let's say I type gadget 1. Search. It says search results for gadget 1. It's displaying everything because we haven't set a constraint just yet. And that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to go to search. We're going to go to our repeating group. Okay. Double click. And now we're going to say search for products, where we're going to set a constraint where name contains the get data from page URL path. Okay, so now it doesn't need to match exactly because the purpose of search is just to match if the product name contains that string we're searching for. All right, so let's go back to index. We're going to hit preview. All right, so let's say I type widget 1. And there it is. There's widget 1. Let's say I go back and I type widget. And now it's displaying both of them. Let's say I go back and I type gadget. and it's going to display both gadgets. So there you go. So search is working. Search results. It should say results. Let's fix that. Search results. There we go. All right, so what do we have? We have this page, we have this, we have this. Let's do a detail view, and then let's do the other one. So I'm going to do a detail view. Now, detail view is a completely different page, so we cannot clone it for anything, right? From anything. We're going to add a new page. We're going to say detail. I'm just going to say product detail. Okay, that looks cool. We're not going to clone it. We're going to create it from scratch. Okay, so we're going to do our header. Okay, there's our header. Perfect. And I'm going to make this page 960. It could be 960. Let's make it maybe width. Let's make it 1080. A little bit bigger. And we want the footer. I'm going to drag and drop the footer. Okay, so now we want to display the details about that product. What I want to do is I want to go to group, and I want to create a group here. Okay, so now we have a group. And all we need to do is basically we're going to have a header. And this is going to be the name of the product. And we're going to say dynamic data. Now, obviously, we're going to be passing the name of the product as a path parameter. So we're going to come in here. We're going to say get data from page URL path. That's it. Now it's just going to list, display the name of the product. Next, we have text. So text, I'm just going to copy and paste. And what do we want to display? Well, let's go to our product. Name, description, rating, price. That's it. You can display whatever you want. I'm just going to display those 4 fields. We're going to do that. Okay. So this is going to say name. We're going to remove style, bold. Actually, I should have done that before. Let's delete them. It's going to be easier. Yeah, you want to make sure if you're doing how I'm doing, copying and pasting to save time, that you actually choose, you know, the formatting, the style, the however you want it, and then copy and paste it. So name, name, description, rating, price. All right. So obviously you probably want to space it out a little bit more. And now I want to drag and drop our visual elements, the text field here. I'm going to do that. Copy and paste. That looks good. All right. And this is going to be name. So we need to pull in the product here, okay? So there's a couple of ways to do it, okay? You want to set the type of content as the product, and the data source, we're going to do a search for product, add a new constraint. We're going to say name equals to get data from page URL, path, close, close. And we are going to say first item, okay? Because it's always going to get multiple. It's afraid it's going to get multiple products. We're going to say first item. And now this page here knows exactly what it's dealing with. It has the data. It already did the query. So now we can come in here and we can say insert dynamic data, product, name, insert dynamic data, description, insert dynamic data, rating, rating, insert dynamic data, product, and we're going to do price. We're going to format it as currency, 2 decimal places, dollars. All right, that's it. And so let's make this a little bit bigger. Let's do 20. Let's make it bold. Probably even bigger, but you guys get the picture. Let's center it. All right, and the other thing I want to do is once this page is being displayed, I want to do a couple of other things. I want to have 2 buttons. One button is going to add it to their shopping cart, and another button is going to check out. It's going to purchase. So we're going to drag and drop 2 buttons. Because typically, you know, that's a good flow. You want the person to keep moving. You want them to take some action. So this is going to say add to cart. And this is going to say purchase, checkout. Now, add to cart is not going to redirect them anywhere. It's going to just do a workflow and just going to add them to cart. It's going to display a message, a little alert. But checkout is going to redirect them to a page where they can see their cart and they can remove items and then they can also check out. So what we want to do is this is going to be a workflow. But before we do it, before we get ahead of ourselves, I want to make sure we are displaying this data correctly. So let's go back to our index. And what we want to do is when they click on the name of the product, we want it to go to the detail page, okay? Just like with the category. So I'm going to say double click, start edit workflow. I'm going to do navigation, go to page, product detail, and we're going to pass a product name, okay? And that way it's going to know we're getting the name. It's going to pull the data for that specific product, and it's going to display the stuff. Okay, display all the information. Let's preview this. All right, so now we are at the home page. Let's click on widget 1. It says widget 1. Okay, maybe make it a little bit bigger. You can also say something like detail information about product, but I'm just going to display the product name. All of this. This is not functioning right now. We have our footer, header, footer. Let's do add to cart and let's do a checkout right now. Let's do all the functionality. So if we go to our product detail, we have this add to cart. Remember, when we go to our data and we go to a users, we go to data types and we go to user. User has a cart field on it, which is a list of products. So what we need to do is we need to modify that user field and we need to add the current product to their cart, which is essentially an array of products. All right, so if we go back here, start and edit workflow, we're going to say data, make changes to a thing. And the thing we want to change is current user. Okay, so if we add all fields, you can see you can modify these fields. We're going to delete these last 3 fields because we're not going to be modifying them. But for the cart, we're going to add, and we're going to say parent group's product because they want to add, the user wants to add the product they're viewing to their shopping cart. Okay? So that's it. Now it's added there. There's current user, the logged in user it's part of the cart. Okay. The other thing I want to do is I want to have another action. Well, before I have that action, I want to add an alert. Alerts are perfect whenever you're doing something, but you're not redirecting the user anywhere. So we're going to add an alert. We're going to go in here and let's find an alert. There's an alert. We can drag it anywhere. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to position the alert at the top. Okay, so this is going to be at the top. You can position it here, right on top. I've seen that. I've seen this kind of UI. I think that's really cool. Let's make it a little bit longer while we are at it. Let's make it just a tad longer. All right, because the product, if the name is going to be long, it's going to wrap. It's not going to look as nice. So this looks good. Let's make this a little bit bigger. 20, let's make it 36. The name of the product. Yeah, that looks cool. Perfect. Something like this is gonna look great. We have the header, we have an alert, we have our page, everything is good. So now when they click this button, this product they're viewing right now is going to be added to their shopping cart for the logged in user, and it's going to show the alert. So let's try this. Let's go to index. Let's preview this. Okay, we can go to the individual product. We say add to cart. We need to display the alert. Okay, so we did not. What we forgot to do is get the alert working, right? So let's go to detail. It's actually a good thing that I had that thing. I had that error. So we have make changes, but we did not enable the alert. So what we want to do is we want to go in here, and we want to search for an alert. We want to do, let's say, it's going to be element action, show message. And this is alert A. Now, obviously, I should have called this alert something, but there's only one alert, and we're going to display it. So now, if we go to an index, preview it, hit widget, display content, add to cart, and it says edit me. Okay, so let's fix that as well. We forgot to configure the alert, right? We're going to go to product detail. We're going to go to this alert. And as you can see, it's not visible initially. We're going to say product added to cart. That's it. So now it's added. That's what's going to be displayed. Now let's create the final page, which is going to be this checkout page, okay? That's going to display all their stuff on it. So when they click on this, it's going to go to the checkout page. So the checkout page is basically going to be a list. It's also a list page. We can clone some of the other pages there, but it's going to display the stuff from the user's shopping cart. So let's do a new page. Let's do add new page. This is our checkout page. We're going to clone it from an index page. Okay, create. So this is going to be, we don't need this. We don't need this. We're going to say checkout. Checkout. And this repeating group. So what we want to do is we want to set the type of content as product, and data source is going to be current user's cart. Okay? And that's it. Cart is basically a list of products, which is kind of what this expects. And this is going to display, or maybe we can do shopping cart or whatever, shopping cart, or I don't know, that doesn't look that shopping cart. And this is going to be the main checkout page. So there's going to be a lot of things happening here. And the other thing that they're going to see is another thing that maybe is a good idea is they're going to see the shopping cart. Well, first of all, let's see if it's working. We're going to go to index. And the way you want to test it is you are going to go to data and you want to create a new user, okay? Because I don't have any users right now. You're going to go all users, new entry. We're going to create a new user, okay? So user type of thing is user. Username is going to be James. Full name is James, NoCode. Email james@james.com. We're going to create. Okay, so now if you go in here, if you refresh it, you go to all users, you're going to see this username. What you want to do is we're not going to be logging in as this user. We're going to be run as this user. So once you run it, it's going to have that environment as the user that we are running as. So we're going to say run as. It's going to authenticate us automatically. And now when we go to an item and we add it to our shopping cart, it's going to know who the user is, the current user, to add it. So we're going to say add to cart. This gets displayed. And when we go to checkout, oh, actually, it's not linked. Okay, so let's link it right now. Let's go into detail, product detail. And this is going to be linked to checkout. So start edit workflow, navigation, go to page, checkout. We're not passing anything because it's going to be, the cart is being set by another workflow. So we're going to go to index, design, preview, widget. We're going to say add to cart. It's added. We're going to go to checkout. And guess what we see? We see that one widget. Let's say we go back and we add another product. Okay, so let's say I want gadget as well. I'm going to hit gadget, add to cart, checkout, and we have two products, widget 1, gadget 1. And so that's a lot of the key stuff is pretty much done at this point. We are done. These are the views. Well, we don't have this cart view anymore. We can delete that. So these views are complete. Okay, so we have 5 views. We have all this data. And so if we go back here, if we go to the main page, and what's really left to do is if you go into checkout, you want to add more information. There's a couple of things that we want to do. We want to have a feature where they delete it from their, their cart, right? So something like this. We're going to have another field, maybe an X or something, and if they click it, it's going to be deleted from the cart. Let's do that real quick. Let's create another field. We're going to do a visual element. I'm going to drag it right here. I'm going to expand this a little bit more. So I'm going to drag it right here. Let's expand this. Let's expand it this way. And we want to have a couple of nice features, right? Because this is a shopping cart. and they can click it. Now you can make, actually, maybe we'll have a button. That's probably a better idea. Let's drag and drop this button right here. Okay, so this is going to say delete X. I'm going to make it real small. All right, perfect. So we have a button here. And when you click on this button, what it's going to do is going to remove this product from the current user's shopping cart. So we're going to say start edit workflow. We are going to do data, make changes to a thing. Make changes to a thing. Things to change is going to be current user. Add all fields. We're going to remove these fields. And we're going to say cart remove current sales product. And that way, that specific product that we're at is going to be removed. And then you can reload the page, refresh the page. That's it. So let's try it out. Let's go to our index. Let's go to preview. Let's go to a widget. And let's do a checkout. We should have those items in the checking, right here. So we need to kind of align it. So if we click X, it's gone. And now it refreshes it. We don't even need to refresh it, in fact. We don't even need to refresh it because it's automatically. We can hit X, it's gone. So we don't even need to refresh it. Let's remove the refreshing part. Product detail, let's do checkout. No, actually the checkout, this X. Let's do that. Edit. We don't need to do a refresh page. Okay, that's all we need to do. So now we have a checkout and we can delete it from the shopping part. We have everything. The only thing that's really left is to create, a bunch of fields for the user, for their, shipping address, for their billing address, and purchase the product. Now, the way you want to charge the user is by going to plugins, add a plugin, and you want to search for Stripe. Stripe is actually one of the most prevalent credit card charge companies that everybody's using, basically. It's one of the easier ways. So I use them on my non-NoCode projects, like when I'm building something like Node.js and stuff like that. But on Bubble, they have an official plugin from Bubble that you can use. So you can install it, you hit done, and then you can set it up. So I have one plugin for this app. You need to, once you go to stripe.com, create your account, approved, everything like that, you're going to have all this information. So you're going to have your live keys and you're going to have your development keys. And once you have it, you can put it in there and you can start using this plugin. So for instance, if I go in here and I have a button here and this button start edit workflow, and let's say this button is clicked. What we can do is we can click on this and we can do a payment. Charge current user. You can do that, and you can have amount, which is basically a sum of all the elements. You can just compute it. Currency, description. Once you configure everything, you enter your API key, everything like that. That's what essentially is going to happen, right? Your payments is going to work like that. But that's pretty much it. Now we have all of these views. We have all of these data types. They are working together. Everything is showing up correctly. The only thing is left is the payment stuff, really, and maybe some extra stuff, email, workflow, stuff like that. So that is something I may cover in a future video using my own Stripe account, using the development environment. So if that is something you want to see, let me know in the comments below. And also let me know your suggestions, feedback, any questions that you may have. And I'll be glad to kind of implement your ideas, your feedback into future videos. And also, if you enjoy this content, you want to see more of it, I would really appreciate a thumbs up. Leave any kind of comment, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel, because this channel is all about creating no-code apps using various tools, not just Bubble, Appgyver, Thunkable, lots of different tools, reviewing them, and teaching you how you can create apps using no-code tools, which essentially allows you to create fully featured apps without writing a single line of code. So again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in a future video.